Hello students, welcome to this module of the welder trade. In this topic, we will learn how to deposit bead on an aluminium sheet 2 mm thickness in a flat position.
Objectives. At the end of this exercise, you shall be able to prepare the sheet as per the size 150 mm length into 100 mm width and 2 mm thickness. Set up the GTAW machine accessories and parameters. Deposit fusion run with filler using left ward technique. Clean the weld bead with steel wire brush. Inspect weld bead for any surface defects. Now, let us look at the tools and materials required for depositing bead on an aluminium sheet 2 mm thick in a flat position using gas tungsten arc welding GTAW. Tools or materials required: steel rule, scriber, ball peen hammer, tri-square, tongs, steel wire brush, filler rods, welding torch, key or spanner, helmet type screen, gas regulator with preheater cum flow meter, welding power source, GTAW machine, shielding gas cylinder, tungsten electrode, foot switch, center punch, aluminium sheet 2 mm thick. Now let us look at the pre-welding preparation for depositing bead on an aluminium sheet 2 mm thick in a flat position using gas tungsten arc welding GTAW. Pre-welding preparation, where appropriate personal protective equipment PPE such as safety goggles, gloves and ear protection to safeguard against potential hazards. Ensure you have a well-lit and adequately ventilated workspace. Take a 2 mm thick aluminium sheet with required size for marking and cutting. Keep it on the welding table. Keep ready with ruler or measuring tape and scriber on the welding table for marking measurements for cutting. Use a ruler to mark the desired cutting line 150 mm length, 100 mm width accurately on the aluminium sheet 2 mm thick. Double check the measurements to avoid errors. Once the cutting process is nearing completion, pay extra attention to maintain the straightness of the cut. Slow down as you approach the end of the line to avoid any unintended overcuts. After the cut is finished, carefully examine the edges of the aluminium sheet for smoothness and accuracy. File the rough edges. Clean the surface with the stainless steel wire brush. Also, do the chemical cleaning with acetone or alcohol to remove dirt. Mark parallel lines by leaving 25 mm on either end of the sheet. Draw the first line using a scriber. Measure 20 mm gap between first line and mark the second line using a scriber. Follow the same process of maintaining 20 mm gap between lines and draw 3 more lines. Totally 5 lines have to be marked. Use the prick punch and ball peen hammer for punching. Start making the punch mark using the prick punch and hammer by maintaining a 4 mm gap between the punch marks. Verify the punch mark and ensure that all the punches are made correctly. Keep the sheet ready on the welding table to start the welding process. Setting of the GTAW machine. Check the power cables of the welding machines. Ensure that power cables are not having cuts in between ends. If you identify any defects, it is to be rectified immediately. Check the welding torch cables for any defects. Check the welding torch and ensure that it is correctly working. Switch on the welding machine and check the voltage and ampere. If the voltage and ampere are correct, then set up the machine for the welding process. Before proceeding with the welding process, conduct an arc test. Select aluminium, 95% aluminium and 5% silicone. Fill a wire 1.6 mm. Set the amperage at 75 to 100 ampere. Set the gas flow rate at 7 lpm, liters per minute. For argon gas, strike the arc on a scrap plate. If the test is perfect, then proceed for the welding process. Now, let us look at the welding process of depositing bead on an aluminium sheet 2 mm thick using gas tungsten arc welding. Keep the aluminium sheet on the welding table in a flat position. Position the sheet in such a way that it will enable us to do the welding in a flat position. Set up the gas tungsten arc welding machine. Select the power supply as follows. A. In case of helium as shielding gas, use DCEN. B. In case of argon as shielding gas, use an AC power source. Majority of welding is done using argon gas. Keep the argon cylinder next to the machine in a trolley at a safer distance. Check the valve of the argon cylinder. Use the cylinder key to open and check the gas pressure. Fix the gas flow meter and regulator on the argon gas cylinder. Check the fixed gas flow meter and regulator for any gas leakage. If any leakage is identified, rectify it immediately. Fix the gas flow cable, one end to the regulator with the fixing clamp. Before setting the amperage, it is better to see the guideline or user manual for setting. Set the amperage at 75 to 100 amperes. Use the gas regulator for setting the gas flow rate. It is better to check the user guideline or user manual for setting up of gas flow rate. Set the gas flow rate at 7 lpm, liters per minute, for argon gas. Strike the arc on a scrap plate. Check the reinforcement of the weld bead and ensure that correct width is maintained. Keep ready with a filler rod and start the welding from the first punch marked line. Move the torch and filler rod at a uniform travel speed. Ensure the weld bead is uniformly laid. Filler rod and torch are held at an angle of 10 to 15 degrees and 70 to 80 degrees to the line of weld. Finish the welding and ensure to fill the crater. Clean the weld bead with stainless steel wire brush. Start the bead on the second punch line. Move the torch and fill a rod at a uniform travel speed. Ensure that the weld bead must be on the punch marked line. Clean the weld bead with a steel wire brush. Same process of welding should be carried for the third, fourth, fifth punched line. After completion of welding on each punched line, the bead must be cleaned with steel wire brush. Inspect the weld bead for any surface defects. Let us see the defects now. Crater, blowholes, excess reinforcement, porosity, improper bead.
Recap. In this topic, we have learned to prepare the sheets as per the size 150 mm length into 100 mm width and 2 mm thickness. Set up the GTAW machine, accessories and parameters. Deposit fusion run with filler using leftward technique. Clean the weld bead with steel wire brush. Inspect the weld bead for any surface defects. I hope you all understood the process of depositing bead on an aluminium sheet 2 mm thickness in a flat position using gas tungsten arc welding. Thank you students, and let us meet in the next session. Bye.